To another top story, COVID-19, the flu, and RSV, they are all spreading rapidly throughout the valley. Experts call it the tripledemic. Fox 5's Danny Maston has the latest on the status of this right here at home.
The holiday season is in full swing and millions are traveling in the midst of a viral storm. Doctors have warned about the tripledemic that is hitting hard in our area.
I think what we're seeing in Clark County is similar to what we're seeing kind of nationwide.
And adds one of the respiratory illnesses is more prominent.
Particularly this influenza season is far worse than we've seen in the last decade.
SNHD Communicable Disease Manager Kimberly Franich explains why this is an alarming flu season.
There really isn't the mitigation in place that we've had for the past 2 years to prevent COVID. So I think that's playing into kind of the additional spread of RSV and influenza.
The Southern Nevada Health District reporting during the month of December last year, about 19 people were hospitalized with the flu. And between December 4th up until the 10th of this year, over 260 people were hospitalized. In November, the SNHD reported 1,800 cases of RSV, which is a 200% increase from the same time last year, which was about 600 cases. Right now, Clark County is at a medium community level for COVID-19, which is based off of COVID hospital admissions and hospital beds occupied.
We have all three of these respiratory illnesses circulating within the community. It can be a cause for concern, particularly with those who have immune compromised conditions or the elderly, those who are older than 65.
The health district says with those traveling and gathering for the holidays, your best bet is to get vaccinated for the flu or COVID if you haven't already, and take those basic precautions like washing your hands, throwing away tissues, and covering your mouth when coughing.
If you are one who is taking care of somebody who has a compromised immune system, if you're a caretaker of an elderly person, then we recommend considering wearing a mask while indoors with other people. You don't want to bring one of these three viruses back home and compromise that person.
I'm Danny Maston, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
And the health district is reminding people, if you feel sick, stay home, get tested right away.